Hi guys, Mark here, and I want to help your mixes sound crystal clear and professional in just a few easy steps. Let's talk EQ. It will stop your tracks sounding muddy and undefined, and you can apply this straightforward hack to every single track in your mix. In fact, the more tracks you apply it to, the better the results will be. Let's just take the standard parametric EQ plugin. The basic one in your software will do. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. They all work the same way. Let's just reduce the number of bands here so it makes things simpler to follow. Now, I want you to click on the high pass button and the low pass button, and you see what that did? That is reducing the frequencies below and above those two spots. Now, we can adjust the rate of the drop off like this, but for now, let's just keep it simple. You can play around with the settings more as you get used to it. Now, if I drag this left and right, I am changing the frequency at which the cutoff happens. And the same with the low pass filter at the upper end of the frequency spectrum. You see, there are lots of unwanted frequencies that do nothing to enhance your sound, but they just sit there muddying things up, especially as you start to apply compression or distortion or reverb. And they will then just interfere with the sounds you do want to hear. For instance, the voice. Okay, so let's have a look at some real world examples now. This is a multi-track that I've just pulled off the internet because it's copyright free. Now, if we play with a high pass filter here, you can see the voice getting thinner and thinner as we move up the frequency range.
And there's a rumor that a deal can be made.
And then if we use the low pass filter, you see as we move down the frequencies, it basically gets a lot less bright.
Transactions, I'm searching for the crossroads, trying to make you change.
So we basically just want to trim off the bottom, a little bit of the bottom, up to about maybe 110, 130. And then we just take a little bit off the top, but you don't really want to take too much off the top there.
Oh, I'm so lost, searching for that thrill.
That's sounding quite nice there. Obviously, it all depends on the music you're working with and the vocalist you're working with as well. You need to do it all in balance, basically. This is just an example. But that's the vocals anyway. Let's have a look at a different instrument now. As I said, keys can occupy wide frequency ranges. So let's undo this now. You see, it's over the whole frequency range. And that sounds nice, but when you put it in a mix, it can swamp all the other instruments and the voice and everything. So you want to take a bit of the bottom end off and the top end off, the things that aren't really essential, and then you can just craft the sound to be exactly as you want it to be within the mix, in balance with all the other instruments. Yeah, if you have too much bottom end, it can sound nice by itself, but it just ends up dwarfing the bass drum and the bass guitar. Let's have a look at something else now. Yeah, some bass guitar. Now the bass guitar, you want to craft this along with the bass drum really, because those two want to sit together, but they don't want to compete with each other in the same frequency range. So you need to craft them quite nice. You need to craft them quite carefully. But that's we could really go into a masterclass on that. So we'll just look at just how the sound changes when you just use a high pass and a low pass filter on them. You'll have to excuse the buzzing now. I'm on my video processing machine, not my audio workstation. You see, you can get rid of quite a bit on the top end, but you don't want to lose that nice trebly ring there, because that's what helps it cut through the mix. Now let's have a look at a kick drum, just so you get a feel of how that works. Let's drop the sub bass kick in there as well, so you get a feel. Right, yeah, you see how the two occupy quite similar frequency ranges. And as you bring more bass in on the bass guitar, it basically they come together, they become less defined. So when you've got that sat in a mix, you'll not hear the bass drum or the bass guitar, depends which is louder. So you need to craft the two so that they basically occupy slightly different places in the EQ spectrum. Let's have a look at some backing vocals now. With backing vocals, you don't need quite as much bottom end as you have in a lead vocal. You can thin them out a little bit more and drop them in behind the vocal, and then they don't overpower it quite so much.
Was bound by the crossroads, undone. Was bound by the crossroads, trying to come undone. Yeah!
Hey, see how they sit together?
Was found by the crossroads, trying to come undone. Was found by the crossroads, trying to come undone. Yeah!
That's a brief overview of low and high pass filters. Let's have a look at cutting and boosting frequencies now to enhance and clean up the sound slightly. Now with EQing, you'll have a Q on a parametric EQ. You have a Q value, which is basically the width of the number of frequencies that are affected. And so it's a good idea to start with quite a wide number of frequencies that you're affecting as you scan across the frequency range. And then once you hone in on the area that is of interest to you, then you can start narrowing it down and like fine tuning the point that you want to like play with. And it's quite a good idea to boost or cut far more than you really want to whilst you're scanning, because then you get a good idea of what's happening. When you find that frequency you're interested in, then you can not only narrow down the Q a bit, but you can also drop the number of decibels that are being either boosted or cut.
Transaction time, searching for the crossroads, trying to make a change. Can't take more refusals, got to rearrange. Hey!
So when you want to enhance a sound, you want to boost a little bit, but when you're trying to get rid of something that shouldn't be there, maybe like a overly nasal sound or something that's just in the background, then you want to be cutting the frequency to get rid of that. So we cut quite heavily to start with, and then we scan through the frequency range to find what we're after. Now, obviously, this vocal is recorded really nicely, so there's not really much we want to be cutting in this, but you get a feel for how, as you scan across the frequency range, you can sort of find the bit that you want to affect. One nice sort of trick is if you're trying to find a frequency that you'd want to get rid of, you can actually boost instead of cutting, and as you send it through, you'll find that one frequency comes out really shrill or really boomy and horrible. And when you've fine-tuned into that frequency, then you can go from a boost to a cut and just drop the number of decibels from positive to negative. And that's how you can effectively use EQ to clean up and enhance your recordings to achieve a professional sound right from your home studio. But here's the thing, you see, even with the best EQ techniques, many home recordings still fall short of sounding truly professional. And that's frustrating, right? You've put in the effort, but it still doesn't sound quite right. You see, the honest truth is that people don't want to listen to bad audio. They want it to sound professional. Your friends, fans, and potential listeners all expect that polished sound, and achieving it starts with perfecting the use of EQ, but it goes beyond just filters. You need to master how to record properly to capture great sound, and then how to use compression and reverb and all the other effects at your disposal to make your masterpiece shine. Let me ask you something. Have you ever played your music to anyone else yet? Did you find yourself having to explain why it was not quite right or what you intended? Did their attention drift off and they start talking about something totally different? All these are the signs you are just at the very beginning of your journey. And yes, I know that road can seem daunting, stretching off into the distance with no end in sight. But what if I was to tell you that I can help you take a shortcut? And not one that ends up with a substandard result, one where you have music that you are truly proud to share with not just family and friends, but the whole world. What if this time next year, your music was being enjoyed by hundreds or thousands of eager followers and shared beyond that? Well, it's all within your reach. You see, this is what I have spent the last few decades specializing in, helping musicians like you achieve their dream sound. I started just like you in a small bedroom studio, struggling to get my tracks to sound professional. After years of trial and error, I discovered the secrets to perfecting audio mixing that made all the difference, and now I'm here to share those secrets with you. I specifically wrote these books to transform your home recordings into high-quality tracks that you can be proud of. Imagine creating music that sounds just as polished and professional as the tracks you admire. With my Audio Mixing for All bundle, you'll learn the exact process I use to master EQ, compression and reverb, the three essential elements of any great mix. These are your holy grail of music production, and until you have mastered them, nothing else matters. And these books will take you from a beginner to an accomplished amateur and all the way to a polished professional. If you follow these guides and implement the calls to action at the end of each chapter, you will learn everything you need to know. And to make this completely risk-free for you, I'm offering a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied with the quality of the product and the results they give you, you'll get a full refund, no questions asked. Indeed, Paul Weston said that even just implementing techniques and advice from my EQ handbook had his mixes sounding much cleaner and more punchy immediately. Imagine what you could achieve with my handbooks on compression and reverb as well. And today, for just $49 or £39 investment in your future, you can elevate your game to a whole new level. Does that sound like a step you're willing to take? But this time-limited offer is available for only 2 days. Now, what about if I also included my Bedroom Musician's Handbook as a free gift in this bundle? This book covers everything from understanding home recording technology and essential equipment to setting up your space, preparing for sessions, recording techniques, editing, mixing and mastering, troubleshooting and remote collaboration. And as I know some people prefer to listen and not read, I will also include the audiobook version. And how about my PDF guide, 15 Essential Vocal Secrets for Singers and Rappers, which guides you through setting up your home studio, mastering vocal performances, applying the essential effects, embracing a growth mindset, and offers you bonus tips on breathwork, songwriting, and overcoming writer's block, culminating in a call to action to share your music with the world. You now have everything you need to take your recording and mixing abilities along with your performances onto a whole new level of excellence. Now, I know not everyone is at the same level here, so I have made sure to include my absolute beginner's guide, How to Make Music Without Spending a Fortune. If you have never recorded before, this is for you. If you have never played the guitar before, or piano before, or even written a song before, then this is for you. I've got you covered. But what about if you just want to get down to performing right away? Well, if you are a vocalist of any kind, singer or rapper, I have royalty-free backing tracks that you can record on straight away. If you are a musician who dislikes building drum tracks, then I have 20 drum tracks in 10 different styles of music just for you. Then I'm also including my essential tools for music producers package. And this includes literally everything you need to hit the ground running. Guitar amp VSTs, synth VSTs, drum VSTs, reverb, EQ and compressor VSTs, worksheets for guitar and piano, a worksheet on the circle of fifths to help your music theory and songwriting, a complete guide to DAWs, their options and their basics, a guide to musical styles so you can know exactly what makes up any style of music you decide to try your hand at, and then recording, mixing and gigging checklists so you never forget anything and you can spend your time having fun and being creative. Then the icing on the cake, and to make this a win-win scenario, I'm including a money-off voucher that you can redeem against my new course that I'm just creating, and also an early bird course pass. This not only guarantees you a discount on the course to the value of this bundle, but you will also stand a chance to be part of the beta launch of this brand new course. This beta launch is extremely limited with only 20 spots available, giving you unique access and the opportunity to shape the course with your feedback. All you have to do is click the button below this video now to take advantage of this time-limited offer. It will not be here after this weekend. If you are watching this on YouTube or some other social media, then check the description for the link to click and do it now.